If everyone could stand. Councilmember Wilmot, could you please lead us in the prayer?
Let us bow our heads in prayer. Dear Lord, our state legislature has commenced its 2019 regular session just 3 short days ago. Those 144 elected officials, which consist of state senators, state representatives, along with the governor, will be making many critical decisions over the next 2 months that will have substantial impact on all of us who live in the great state of Louisiana. We pray that all those with whom we have elected and have entrusted power as elected officials, that they make wise decisions on our behalves with your guiding hand, and that at the end of the day, our citizens will be served in the best way possible. Further, dear Lord, we pray that in our wonderful and blessed city of Kenner, that we too, as city council members, the mayor, the city administration, the police chief, and members of the police department, as well as our firefighters, that we all make wise decisions in our important roles for our citizens so that they are again served in the best way possible. We also pray that you protect all of these public servants and keep them and their families healthy and safe as they do the people's business. In Jesus' name we pray, amen.
Amen. Councilmember Carroll, could you please lead us in the pledge?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good evening, council members. You have a quorum this evening. Councilman Brennan and Councilman Brannigan are absent. In accordance with Council Resolution Number B14550, please be advised that all cellular telephones, pagers, beepers, and other devices of this nature must be deactivated or silenced throughout the council meeting. Do we have any resolutions, motions, or other items from the floor this evening? Hearing none, move on. Under the consent agenda this evening, we have item 1, approval of minutes, the council meeting of March 29, 2019. Item 2 is approval of alcoholic beverage permit applications. We have none. Item 3 is approval of bingo and public gathering applications. Item 3A is application number 2152-19, First Baptist Church, Kenner, to hold a public gathering on April 20th from 4:30 p.m. to 6:30 p.m. for the purpose of an Easter picnic at 1313 Clay Street, parking lot, Kenner, Louisiana. Item 3B is application number 2153-19, Our Lady of Perpetual Help Catholic Church, to hold a public gathering on April 21st, 2019 from 6:30 a.m. to 8:30 a.m. for the purpose of an Easter sunrise service at LaSalle Landing. Item 3C is application number 2154-19, Mitchell Brothers and Sons Incorporated, to hold a public gathering on April 11, 2019 through April 14, 2019 from 5 p.m. to 11 p.m., weekends from 1 p.m. to 11 p.m. for the purpose of a community carnival at the Esplanade Mall. Item 3D is application number 2155-19, Crescent City Cruisers Classic Car Club, to hold a public gathering on April 19, 2019, May 17, 2019, June 21, 2019, July 19, 2019, August 16, 2019, September 20, 2019, and October 18, 2019, from 6:30 p.m. to 11 p.m. for the purpose of a classic car cruise night at Lake Town. Item 3E is application number 2158-19, Custom Cruisers, to hold a public gathering on April 13, 2019 from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. for the purpose of a fundraiser for firefighter Danny Ziegler at Veterans Park parking lot. Item 4 is correspondence, reports from mayor, CAO, or department heads. Item 4A, at the request of the administration, a report from Mayor Zahn. You have the floor, Mayor.
Hey, thank you, Councilwoman. This past week, we did a code sweep in District 2 with the help of Councilman Seguilla's office. We looked at the 2100 block to 2400 block of Kansas and the 2100 block to the 2200 block of Kentucky. Warning violations were 12, court summons were 2. Now, some of you all may say that, why is that so low? Well, I'm happy that it's low, because that means that the code inspector for that area, first, is doing his job. Second, the code department, run by James Mohammed and the assistant director, Molly McGinnis, are doing their job, making sure that that area is rid of blight. So I am very happy to report low numbers like that. I would like to have more low numbers throughout the city. I do think it's also the work, obviously, of the district council person, Mike Segura, doing his job along with the administration. We need more numbers like that. So we're not discouraged to give those numbers. It doesn't mean that they didn't go out there and do their job. It meant that the job is being done already. I have some sales tax numbers again. These are some good things that I've been reporting. February sales tax received in April, up almost $450,000, which is 17% for the same month last year. That's positive economic impact to our city, and it obviously says that economic development is working. We are nearing our 70th ribbon cutting, and I keep saying those things. I think we're like at 68, 69. I keep saying that every time we cut a ribbon, and it's showing by, I feel, these numbers. And it's not all just happening in District 2, Councilman Segura. I know you like to take credit for that, but a lot is happening in District 2. But it's happening throughout the city. And I know next meeting, you all will be faced with 2 things, one in District 3, one in District 2. Remember these numbers, guys. This is the system working. This is not a broken system. Even though some say, don't build this, don't build that, obviously what we're okaying, obviously what we're doing as an administration, a chief, a police, and a council is working. So next meeting, when you're listening to the naysayers, have comments and their negativity about things that you are going to vote on, I ask for your help and your consideration on these numbers. Because I'd like to be able to sit here next year and continue to say these numbers are doubled, or at least what you have right here. We are, with these numbers, we are 1.8 million ahead for this year. But remember, we're still trying to fill that $500,000 gap from a previous council, previous budget, some council members, with this administration we had to do last year. The bad news of the day is, when you're talking about sales tax, is that this will be affected by the delay of the airport. Now, let me get my good part out first. I think the positive thing about the delay of the airport is it gives us an opportunity for for all of us, but for Councilman Carroll's district and Councilman Brennan, who can't be with us this evening, District 1 and District 5, maybe a little more time to work on a possible solution on traffic congestion, because as you know, as everyone knows, it's going to be terrible. I mean, there's no other way to put it, but it's going to be terrible. So if there's good news from today with the delay, that's the good news, that it might give us, and please take away from this meeting, it might give us an alternative solution with the traffic, something that I've been working on with Councilman Segura and also Councilman Brennan and Carroll on a temporary solution. The bad news is it affects our occupational licenses, because there's occupational licenses in that area which will shortfall us around $400,000, possibly, that we won't be able to recover from until next budget. That could be a problem with the delay of the airport, because those numbers won't be in for this year, for our year, July 1st. So there's always something good and there's always something bad. For our residents, maybe our traffic solution will be not in place, but will be in motion so we can get that done. It could affect our sales tax with our occupational licenses. Some more good news is today we had some National Service Medals awarded to Captain Clint Stevens and firefighter Stephen Lee. They are both on our Kenner Fire Department. They received National Service Medals recognizing them for their kayak rescue earlier this year. We are definitely proud of our firemen and also our policemen that go out there and do these types of rescues. They came in today and recognized these 2 a firefighter and a captain of the fire department. Just in the last 2 years, these skills have been tested at least a dozen times. That's pretty impressive that we're able to rescue people with our fire department and our police department. Chief Glaze is not here with us tonight, but he would say the same thing about his men and ladies in his police department. This is a source of pride for Kenner to have the U.S. Coast Guard come in and recognize our fire department. So a lot of good things happening in the city. Code sweeps, sales tax numbers, our fire department being recognized. I can't say too much is going wrong right now. And again, I want to thank each and every one of you all, and also Councilman Brannigan and Brennan, who are not here, that the hard work that they do along with you all and us, I think is making a difference as we drive up and down the streets of the city of Kenner. Anybody have any questions? Thank you.
Councilman Carroll.
Thank you, Mrs. President. I'd like to just comment on the mayor comments about the delay of the airport opening up. It makes sense. I mean, we are not in control of the schedule. We are not in control of the contractors. We are not in control of the weather, but it still affects us. I think that from the beginning, this always will be a marathon and not a dash. And I think it gives the police department an opportunity also to be part of this plan to address the traffic, because they're going to play a big role in it, well, along with all of our emergency response people, along with the code also. So give us a chance to look at it again, to think about some things, to address the neighborhood concerns, more concerns, and to be able to put forth a plan that will somewhat help us prepare for what we know is coming, but to have a better plan for it. So, you know, sometimes you get things and you don't realize it's a blessing, and I think this may be one of those things, this delay. So we look forward to it, to make the best out of it, and along with the support of the City of New Orleans and the director, Mr. Dolio, I think we're gonna adjust to the things that we can adjust to and deal with it accordingly. Thank you, Mr. President.
Oh, we have someone else. Council Member Wilmot.
Thank you, Mr. President. Wanted to ask, Mayor, how do we stand currently as far as our budget? How do we that's all right. How do we currently stand with our budget? I don't know if you or Mr. Wetzel would like to.
Such as?
We were ahead right now with the sales tax, and then we had a deficit, if you will, that we were looking at, that we were trying to make up.
Yeah, so we're 500,000 from getting to that number that we actually but, you know, borrowed from ourselves to make us whole for that year. So we're $500,000 away from that.
Okay, that's what I need to know. Thank you.
No problem. Thank you.
That's all.
Thank you, Council Member.
That will conclude the consent agenda this evening, Madam President.
Okay, motion by Councilmember Carroll on the consent agenda. Motions by Councilmember Carroll, seconded by Councilmember Hayes. Council members, please vote.
Motion passes 5-0. Under the public appearance agenda this evening, we have item 9, public hearings for final passage. Item 9A is a public hearing regarding summary ordinance number 12,495, an ordinance levying the annual tax millage rates for the year 2019 totaling 17 17/100 mills on the dollar of the assessed valuation of all taxable property within the corporate limits of the city of Kenner, Louisiana on the 2019 tax roll.
The motion is by Councilmember McKinney, seconded by Councilmember Hayes to open public hearing. Council members, please vote.
Motion passes 5-0.
Is there anyone in the audience wishing to address the council on this matter, including homeowners and neighbors? Seeing none, the motion by Councilmember McKinney, seconded by Councilmember Hayes to close public hearing. Council members, please vote.
Motion passes 5-0.
Motion by Councilmember McKinney, seconded by Councilmember Hayes to approve. Council members, please vote.
Motion passes 5-0. Item 9B is a public hearing regarding summary ordinance number 12,496, an ordinance amending ordinance number 11,062, adopted by the City of Kenner on March 17, 2016, entitled Unified Development Code of the City of Kenner, Louisiana, more particularly amending and rezoning lots G2, G3, G4, G5, G6, G7, Square 465, Highway Park Subdivision, Kenner Jefferson Parish, Louisiana, from RR1, Single Family Residential, to SI, Special Industrial, and directing, authorizing, and empowering the planning director for the City of Kenner to alter and amend the official zoning map of the City of Kenner.
Motion by Councilmember Segur, seconded by Councilmember Carroll to open public hearing. Council members, please vote.
Motion passes 5-0.
Is there anyone in the audience wishing to address the council on this matter, including homeowners and neighbors?
The
We have a
planning
president.
department.
We have a,
Oh, I'm
the
sorry.
No problem,
I
Madam
guess you
President.
can
Thank
talk as well.
The owner applicant of the property is Mr. David Johnson, 821 Transcontinental Drive, Metairie, Louisiana, 70072. The subject property, lots G2 through G7, are generally bound by 22nd Street to the north, 21st Street to the south, Connecticut Avenue to the east, and Colorado Avenue to the west. In anticipation of the application being submitted, Mr. Johnson was required to hold a neighborhood early notice meeting. That meeting was held on Monday, December 3rd at 10 a.m. at DJT Properties, 2232 Idaho Avenue. The applicant indicated that no one from the neighborhood attended the meeting other than the District 2 Councilman Mike Segur. Subsequently, several neighbors notified the planning department that they were not aware of that particular meeting. The surrounding property, large portions of the land north, south, and west of the subject lots are currently undeveloped. The lots east, across, and fronting along Connecticut Avenue in Square 466 are generally developed as single-family homes with several vacant lots included as well. The zoning of the properties surrounding the subject lots are all RR1 single-family residential. This includes substantial amounts of land purchased by the airport and either still owned by the City of New Orleans or sold by the city to private landowners. All airport land, despite current ownership, still carries permanent restrictions limiting future development to non-residential uses. However, the subject lots, G2 through G7, were not sold to the airport as part of the particular buyout program, and therefore have no development restrictions other than those found in the zoning RR1 single-family residential. As the map currently on screen indicates, large portions of the land on the northwest and south of the subject lots were sold to the airport during the buyout program. All of the property sold, currently shown on this map was sold to private landowners in an auction that took place on January 29th, 2016. The Planning Commission held a public hearing on February 27th, 2019. Prior to the meeting, the Planning Department received 4 letters objecting to the rezoning of these lots to special industrial. Additionally, several residents also spoke against it at the Planning Commission meeting. After consideration, the Planning Commission voted to recommend denial of the rezoning application. And that concludes the presentation.
Thank you. Is there anyone in the audience wishing to address the council on this matter, including homeowners and neighbors? Council members? Motion by Councilmember Segur, seconded by Councilmember Carroll to close, did I open? Yes, to close the public hearing. Council members, please vote.
motion passes 5-0. We have a motion by Councilmember Segur, seconded by Carroll, for approval.
Councilmember Segur would like to speak.
Thank you, Ms. President. As the planning director has just sort of outlined, we have a little bit of dilemma here, was that this area of land is residential, has been residential since our zoning laws were put in place. And subsequently, to change that to light industrial does not fit the makeup of the surrounding neighborhood residents' desire to live in the harmony that any R1 subdivision would want to live in. Part of the confusion that was raised in this application was there is, as reported by the director, again, airport buyout land, which was land that the Aviation Board purchased in the settlement of a noise lawsuit against the Aviation Board, and those houses were that were bought were torn down, and just green space was left, and a covenant was placed on those deeds that that land could never be used for residential purpose only, but only commercial light industrial. The residents do have a strong concern, because the only way to get to that area that may in time be turned into commercial light industrial is you have to drive through the residential neighborhood to get to that area. Subsequently, the concerns strongly in the neighborhood are for the truck traffic, the volume of trucks of various weights, the fact that the streets in that area were put in place in the early 50s, where streets were not put in with a base to handle truck traffic. They're very narrow, just to as accommodate car traffic at that time. So without some better means to allow commercial access to go in and out, the only way to get to it is past residential houses, which caused the residents to speak up loudly at that meeting, in the planning board meeting, in opposition to this. So it's just not consistent with standard zoning practices to rezone a parcel of R1 land surrounded by R1 land to special industrial. So with that, I strongly concur with the Planning and Zoning Board's recommendation for denial, and will be voting against this myself, and I urge my other colleagues to do the same, because mainly the residents have their strong concerns of how the intrusion of that commercial light industrial traffic would hurt their quality of life. So please consider voting against. Thank you.
Seeing no one else, we will vote. Motion by Councilmember Seguir, seconded by Councilmember Carroll to approve. Council members, please vote.
Madam Chairman, motion fails 0 to 5. Councilmembers Hayes, Wilmot, McKinney, Seguir, and Carroll are opposed. Item 10 is opening of bids. We have none. Item 11 is reclassification of zoning for final passage. We have none. Item 12 is other ordinances for final passage. We have none. Item 13 is resolutions and motions by council members. Item 13A is a resolution calling a public hearing to determine whether the structure located at 1931 Kentucky Avenue, Kenner, Louisiana, shall be abated by repair, rehabilitation, demolition, or removal.
The motion is by Councilmember Seguir, seconded by Councilmember McKinney. Council members, please vote.
Motion passes 5-0. Item 15 is acceptance of contracts and similar matters approved by the mayor. Item 15A is summary ordinance number 12,506, an ordinance amending ordinance number 11,528, which authorized an agreement with QSyn Technologies Incorporated in an amount not to exceed $40,900 for the Department of Public Works.
Motion by Councilmember Seguir, seconded by Councilmember McKinney. Council members, please vote.
Motion passes 5-0. Item 15B is summary ordinance number 12,507, an ordinance accepting the lowest responsive bid received from Trucking Innovation LLC to supply batcher, dirt, and sand in accordance with seal bid number 19-6462 and an amount not to exceed $70,000 annually for the Departments of Public Works and Recreation.
Motion by Councilmember Hayes, seconded by Councilmember Carroll. Council members, please vote.
Motion passes 5-0. Item 15C is summary ordinance number 12,508, an ordinance accepting the lowest responsive bid received from Hard Rock Construction LLC, received March 13, 2019, by the Louisiana Department of Transportation and Development, DOTD, in the amount of $11,940,424.99 for West Esplanade Bridges at Duncan Canal, State Project Number H.011731, Federal Aid Project Number H.011731, Kenner Public Works Number 2014-001A-CIP for the Department of Public Works.
The motion's by Councilmember Wilmot, seconded by Councilmember Segur. Council members, please vote.
Councilmember Wilmot has his light on.
I'm sorry, I apologize.
Thank you, Madam President. I had a question regarding the amount of the money. Where is the funds? Who are paying for this project? And what's the breakdown?
He has a button to turn his mic on. Oh, use Mike's microphone. Yours is broken.
On this project, it's split 50-50 between the city and FHWA. Well, that's administered through the DOTD. So it's federal funds that the DOTD administers.
Okay, so half of that is paid by the state?
Yes.
And then they get federal dollars, or is this all state dollars?
This is federal dollars.
Federal dollars, okay. And the other 50% is city?
City dollars, it's 2030. I come up with the 2030 project.
2030 project, okay. And I understand that this bid, is underbid?
Yes, it is. The engineer's estimate was 14.7 million, and as you see, the low bid was 11.9.
And this project is coming due, and it's something that we need desperately?
Yes.
Okay. That's all I have. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, let's see. Okay, this motion by Councilmember Wilmot, seconded by Councilmember Segur. Council members, please vote.
Motion passes 5-0. Item 15D is summary ordinance number 12,509, an ordinance accepting the lowest responsive bid received from Industrial Fire and Apparatus to provide preventative maintenance and repair for fire vehicles in accordance with seal bid 19-6467 and an amount not to exceed $250,000 annually for the Department of Fire.
Motion by Councilmember Hayes, seconded by Councilmember Carroll. Council members, please vote.
Motion passes 5-0. Item 15E is summary ordinance number 12,510, an ordinance accepting the lowest responsive bid received from Signal Equipment Company South to supply traffic signal parts in accordance with seal bid number 19-6459 and an amount not to exceed $50,000 annually for the Department of Public Works.
Motion by Councilmember Wilmot, seconded by Councilmember McKinney. Council members, please vote.
Motion passes 5-0. Item 15F is summary ordinance number 12,511, an ordinance accepting the lowest responsive bid received from Barrier Construction Company LLC to provide asphalt street maintenance in accordance with seal bid number 19-6463 and an amount not to exceed $1 million annually for the Department of Public Works.
Councilmember Wilmot?
If we could call our motion roll.
Oh, I'm sorry. Motion by Councilmember Carroll, seconded by Councilmember Wilmot. Councilmember Wilmot.
I just had a question regarding the amount. Of course, is this a recurring expenditure? Okay, so this is, if you will, we had this last year, correct?
Yes, sir. It's a recurring, this is a 2-year contract.
Okay, that's all I have. Thank you.
Councilmember Carroll?
Thank you, Madam President. I just want to ask, is this part of the road repair plan that we are attempting to put into place, or is this something separate from that?
Yeah, this is something that we do every year. We have this contract available to us every year. So, yeah, but it could be used for that.
So, I'd like to know if briefly, what's the status of that plan that we're working on for the entire city for the road repairs?
Yeah.
Not
yeah,
full detail, but just a little bit, and then I will ask in the future to come back
Sure.
with additional information.
Yeah, the notice to proceed for that project was issued earlier this month. I believe it's on the 4th. And this schedule calls for that to be completed in 225 days.
So in 225 days, the plan for the road repair will start?
No, they will be complete. They will have their analysis of all the streets.
an
All the
analysis,
streets will be
okay.
rated at that time.
Okay, all right. And then after the analysis, the next step will be to share with everybody and then to be able to prioritize the plan itself.
Yes, sir, that's correct.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you. And seeing no one else, council members, please vote.
Motion passes 5-0. Item 15G is summary ordinance number 12,512, an ordinance accepting the lowest responsive bid received from State Block Incorporated to supply masonry supplies in accordance with seal bid number 19-6458 and an amount not to exceed $50,000 annually for the Department of Public Works.
Motion by Councilmember Wilmot, seconded by Councilmember Seguer. Council members, please vote.
Motion passes 5-0. Item 15H is summary ordinance number 12,513, an ordinance approving an agreement with Richard C. Lambert Consultants, LLC, for construction, engineering, and inspection-related services for West Esplanade Bridges at Duncan Canal, State Project Number H.011731, Federal Aid Project Number H.011731, Kenner Public Works Project Number 2014-001-A-CIP, and an amount not to exceed $628,220 for the Department of Public Works.
Motion by Councilmember Seguer, seconded by Councilmember Hayes. Councilmember Wilmot?
Mr. Shriner, on this project, is this one in conjunction with 15C? Just to be, for clarification.
Yes, sir, it's the same project.
Okay. And one, of course, is for the construction company, and this one is for the engineering, correct?
Yes, yeah.
Okay, that's all I have. Thank you.
Anyone else? No, seeing none. Council members, please vote.
Motion passes 5-0. Item 15I is a resolution approving Amendment Number 1 to the engineering agreement with Principal Engineering Incorporated dated March 22, 2019 regarding the pavement management system to increase the agreement amount by $7,490 for the Department of Public Works.
Motion by Councilmember McKinney, seconded by Councilmember Wilmot. Council members, please vote.
Motion passes 5-0. Item 16 is ordinances and resolutions in summary for first reading. Item 16A is an ordinance approving the plan of re-subdivision of lots 6 through 43, Square 10, into Lot A, which lots are owned by August, Christina, and Brothers Incorporated, and Chris Realms LLC, and approving a planned unit development for a self-storage facility with commercial space located on Lot A, Square 10, Highway Park Subdivision, Kenner, Louisiana, which property is zoned C2 General Commercial. Item 16B is an ordinance approving the plan of re-subdivision of Lot X, Square 5, into Lot X1 and X2, which lots are owned by FCA Realty LLC, and approving a planned unit development for an automotive sales, service, and repair facility on new Lot X2, Square 5, Redwood Park Subdivision, Kenner, Louisiana, which property is zoned C2, general commercial. 16C is an ordinance authorizing the City of Kenner to enter into a lease agreement between the Esplanade Mall Realty Holding LLC and the City of Kenner, Louisiana, for the lease of a storeroom containing approximately 14,390 square feet of floor area. Item 16D is an ordinance approving a professional services agreement with LeBlanc Fantasy Vilio LLC for legal services and an amount not to exceed $200,000 annually. Item 16E is an ordinance accepting the lowest responsive bid received from Thornville Services Incorporated to supply permeable pavers on an as-needed basis in accordance with letter bid number 19-1577 and an amount not to exceed $20,000 annually for the Department of Public Works. Item 16F is an ordinance accepting the lowest responsive bid received from McCoy Group LLC to provide concrete flat work in accordance with seal bid number 19-6465 in an amount not to exceed $125,000 annually for the Department of Public Works. Item 16G is an ordinance accepting the lowest responsive bid received from Casco Industries Incorporated to provide turnout gear and supplies in accordance with seal bid number 19-6469 in an amount not to exceed $100,000 annually for the Department of Fire. Item 16H is an ordinance accepting the lowest responsive bid received from Solutions of New Orleans LLC to provide cleaning and repair of turnout gear in accordance with seal bid number 19-6470 and an amount not to exceed $20,000 annually for the Department of Fire. Item 17 is reports from the council and/or special committees. Seeing none. Item 18 is new business. We have none. Item 19 is unfinished business and motions to reconsider or remove from a tabled position. We have none. Item 19 is persons wishing to address the council on special subject matters.
Yes, good afternoon. State your name and address. You have 3 minutes. Okay.
Looked like you was having a little rough time there, so, Al Morella, 4260 East Loyola Drive, 47 years. I want to express my appreciation to Councilman Segura for securing us a spot at the Italian Festival for VFW Post 7732 so we could try to recruit some new members. Also, I want to thank the mayor. I especially want to thank Bob Ross and Chris Fairbairn Fortunato over there for recognizing one of our members of the same post, VFW 7732, 90-year-old Korean veteran. Job well done. I thank y'all. Mean it from the bottom of my heart. Now, I see my Councilman Brennan is absent here tonight, so I'm going to direct this to the two council at large. This is concerning an issue I brought up here about Low Sunset Boulevard that runs in front of my house, where they're trying to make two-lane street out of it, okay? And they're coming close to scraping paint. It's getting more and more dangerous all the time. Now, last month, a contractor came out. He set up some boxes on the canal bank, and he set up some boxes on the neutral ground on East Loyola to monitor the traffic. He also measured that street, and it's not in compliance with the DOTD specifications. It's 16 feet wide. It's supposed to be 22 feet wide. So we need to get those one-way signs up as quickly as we can. All that information should have been turned into the city. Okay? Now, at the last meeting, I invited Cheryl Bro down here and Cheryl Williams from HUD down there on Partridge Street. Are any of them in the audience here? No? Don't surprise me. First, the comments I would have had for Cheryl Williams is, she needs to remember one thing, because she's under the impression, for some reason, that Kenner is not a stakeholder in what goes on at the Kenner Housing Authority. So I want to remind her, in case she looks at the replay of this meeting, that although there's no funding by the city of Kenner, it's funded by hardworking men and women's federal tax dollars, okay? The mayor appoints the 5 board members, and the board members hire and fire the executive director. So it's governed under state and federal laws. So Ms. Williams needs to remember that the next time she does something that I feel is detrimental to the Kenner Police Department and the citizens of the city of Kenner. Now, anybody got any comments, any questions for me? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Morella. Please state your name and address, and you have 3 minutes, ma'am.
Good afternoon. My name is Jaronet S. Whitaker. My address is 627 Webster Street, Kenner, Louisiana, 70062. I have been a citizen of Kenner all my life. My concern today is to address all who is attending this meeting today, especially the Chief of Police, Ben Mayer, who I'm praying and asking God just to cover me right now, and Officer Michael Romano, who was involved in the shooting of my son, Amon Jaron Brown, on January 23rd, the most horrifying day of my life, and all families that was affected by his death. Amon was shot and killed by the Kenner Police SWAT team. He was 25 years old, having a spiritual breakdown in his own home, in which Kenner knew of his condition, no hostage, no harm to nobody. What my biggest concern is when you told that your child, if he came out being erratic and knowing that he had a mental illness, that he would be shot with beanbags or rubber bullets, and you believed in that, and you just had that hope and desire that, knowing I had worked with City of Kenner for numbers of years, that this would not have happened. So I've become an activist for the mentally ill. Therefore, I'd like to speak on behalf of all mothers and fathers everywhere. Be careful about seeking help from police when you have a mental child. Not that I'm knocking the police officer, but training needs to be involved. And the reason why I say that is important because the mentally ill don't understand everything that's being told. So I'm here to advocate that we all need training when we're dealing with the mentally ill. Because another thing I'm concerned about, racism is also real here. We have corruption and we have cover-up. Police have a code that they use. They use a code of silence or immunity. Today I have stand on a code. Where was the robot for my son? To help stop police brutality and profiling and lack of patience, especially for young men and women who are faced with mentally ill challenges and problems. I want to leave y'all with this, because I am a Christian. The word said, thou shalt not kill. Love is the condition, and we all should show. I cannot control every consequences, but I can respond to each one in faith. Life hurts, but God heals. God granted me the sincerity to accept the things I cannot change, but God also granted me the courage to change the things that I can, and the wisdom to know the difference, right or wrong acts. Therefore, again, I will always fight for injustice for my son Amon Brown and other family members who have lost mentally ill families. I miss my son, and I'm just hoping that one day that there's money that's allocated to the police department so that they can use and do the right thing. If Jefferson Parish has a robot, Kenner needs a robot, because I don't want this to happen, and I can't sit still on this simply because I don't want no child to be affected, especially if they're mentally ill. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Whitaker. Mr. Teft, please state your name and address, and you have 3 minutes.
My name is Greg Taft. I live at 3720 West Loyola Drive in Kenner. I just want to ask the administration for clarification on the budget. It was said that we are 1.8 million ahead, but we are still behind on the $500,000 that was from last year, the deficit from last year. What I need to know is, are we carrying that 500 because we wait till the year end to recognize that it was taken care of, or is it just that we don't take what we're earning now to?
Right. We haven't reached that yet. So we took 2.3 in the last budget to make ourselves whole, and we've collected 1.8 back of that. So we're still $500 shy.
Okay, so it was 2.3.
Right.
Gotcha. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Taft. Anyone else in the audience that didn't sign up? Okay. The motion to adjourn. I apologize, Councilmember Carroll. Yes.
Thank you, Madam President. I just want
Wait,
to.
don't.
I just like
not
to
over
say. I just like to say before we leave, as it relates to Mr. Morella, kind of reminded me about the Italian festival, to thank the organization for the event that was held in Rivertown. We were threatened with bad weather the entire week, but things worked out, and it was a fabulous crowd, particularly on Saturday and Friday. So, these type of events, we're looking forward to the month of May for music in the park, movies in the park, and other events that are coming, the markets, and all of these things. So, hopefully with the weather cooperating with us, we will be able to enjoy the summer months, and particularly next year, the Italian organization will be back next year to enlighten us with Italian food, music, and things to come throughout the city. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you. We also have Councilmember Hayes.
I would just like to thank the fire department. Last Thursday night, we attended the graduation of our new firefighters, and it was really a wonderful event. And everybody, I wish you could have been there. You'd be very proud of the new firefighters in the city of Kenner. Thank you.
Great. And I would like to speak. I just want to give, I'm sorry? No, that's okay. I'd like to recognize Councilmember McKinney. Thank you, Madam President. Ha ha. Okay, so I just want to recognize the code department and the fire department for working with Kenner businesses. Recently, I reached out to them on something dealing with one of the ice cream shops, Flavors actually. They were thinking that they were going to have to move and relocate from Kenner to Metairie. I was able to reach out to the code department and get them in contact. So they are no longer moving from Kenner and staying in Kenner. So I'm excited and thank you for your help. And I think that this is a good indication of, Kenner is business friendly and we want businesses here. So thanks. Oh, Councilmember Wilmot.
Thank you, Madam President. I'd just like to say, too, it's getting that time of the year where our weather is getting warmer and it's really getting nice outside. The kids are nearing the end of their school year. Snowball stands are getting ready to open. Festivals are under the way. Vacations are also coming forth. So take the necessary precautions and enjoy your summer. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Seeing no one else, motion to adjourn. Thanks. Okay.
I second.
Great, thank you.